Consistent success in sales doesn't come from talent alone. It comes from the structure. Teams that consistently hit their targets do so because they've established reliable and high impact routines that guide their effort, focus, and ultimately their execution. So today, we're exploring how to build and maintain those routines as the leader of the team and how to make KPIs meaningful and not just measured. In this session, we'll walk through how to design and implement a routine cadence that removes ambiguity and drives accountability with your team. You'll learn how to run effective daily and weekly meetings that reduce distractions and surface blockers early. We'll also break down how to identify and manage the KPIs that shape behavior, the kinds that improves results rather than just tracking them. Reality is, when routines are missing, managers will become firefighters. You'll be spending most of your time reacting to the latest deal issues, pipeline surprise, or performance dip. A strong rhythm is going to flip that on its head. It's going to create predictability, it sets clear expectations, and it allows you to operate proactively instead of being pulled into the urgent at the cost of something else that's important. You need to remember, these aren't check the box meetings. They're purpose built touch points with your team members. Daily stand-ups are for visibility. One-to-ones are for coaching. Pipeline reviews are to forecast and stress test the deals your team are managing. Weekly planning to align priorities and set the tone. When these happen consistently and with focus, you're going to create a working rhythm with your team that you're going to be able to trust, and that's going to drive all the positive outcomes. Adopting new routines, it can feel like an overhead if it's not done thoughtfully. So start small. Introduce one rhythm at a time. Test, refine, and layer, just like we do with our outbound messaging. For example, in week 1, focus only on making daily stand-ups effective. Once that sticks, layer in the one-to-ones. By pacing the rollout, you're going to avoid overwhelm and improve adoption across your whole team. Now, not every metric is going to help you lead. A good KPI, it tells a story about pipeline health, deal velocity, rep productivity, or conversion quality. If a key performance indicator doesn't drive a conversation, clarify priorities, or identify where coaching is needed, it's probably just noise. You want key performance indicators that align with your goals and can actually influence day-to-day behavior. So let's think of this in 3 layers. Activity, that shows effort. How many calls, emails, touch points are made? Performance shows efficiency, so things like connect to meeting ratios or discovery to close conversion. And outcomes are results: revenue, deals closed, quota attainment. You need all 3, but in balance. Overemphasizing one will create blind spots with the others. The easiest way to do this is always to build backwards. Start with the revenue target, then work backwards from that. If a rep needs 40K this quarter and their average deal size is 5K, that's 8 deals. If their close rate is 20%, that's 40 opportunities. And if their meeting to opportunity rate is 25%, that's 160 meetings. Now you've got clear, logical KPI flow tied to an outcome. It's specific, it's relevant, and it's actionable. Now, the power of KPIs comes when they're embedded into your weekly and monthly rhythm, not stuck on a dashboard somewhere in your CRM. In your one-to-ones, review 2 to 3 core KPIs per rep. In your pipeline meetings, track performance shifts. In planning sessions, align the weekly focus of the team to what the data's telling you. The goal isn't more numbers. It's better conversations that lead to smarter decisions that ultimately positively affect these KPIs. It's also important to remember, numbers only tell part of the story. If a rep's email rate drops, is it the messaging, the targeting, the timing? Use KPIs to identify the signal, then use coaching to unpack the cause. This turns numbers from pressure points into a diagnostic tool. And it also reinforces that your job as the leader is to guide and not to monitor. The most common mistake, tracking everything, death by numbers. That creates analysis fatigue and it's going to dilute your focus. Others also include tracking what's easy and not what matters, or using metrics to create pressure rather than support. KPIs should be reviewed regularly, adapted to reflect the shifts in your team's focus, and always tied back to meaningful action. And here's what it looks like in the field. In stand-ups, you hear about a stalled deal early and address it that day. In a one-to-one, you notice a rep's call to meeting conversion is down. So you review the call recordings and give advice and training on how to improve them back up again. Pipeline reviews highlight forecast risk and you course correct before the quarter ends. It's not just about structure, it's about structure that drives agility and performance from each of your team members. Some final do's and don'ts. Do keep your meeting structure clear and purposeful. Do use metrics as a shared tool, not personal report cards. Do highlight progress weekly. It's going to build morale and momentum with everyone in your team. Don't cancel your meetings for busy work. It's so damaging to do so. You may not see it on the day, but over time, trust will be destroyed. Don't overwhelm with 20 KPIs. It makes it incredibly hard to focus on the ones that really matter. And don't let the data drift into irrelevance. Keep it sharp, anchored on impact. Cool. Look, great leadership isn't about charisma or complexity. It's about clarity and consistency. High-performing teams know what's expected and how they're performing and where to improve. That's what routines and KPIs deliver. A shared framework for performance that will scale. Your role is to install that framework and then maintain and evolve it as your team grows. And like with all the lessons, you can take action this week. Schedule your key weekly meetings for the next 30 days and protect them. Sacred time in your calendar. Then choose 5 to 7 metrics that matter, tie them to a specific rep behavior and outcome, and use them to coach your team members. Then we're going to create visibility through a shared KPI dashboard. Most importantly, review and adjust this quarterly. A great system evolves with your team. Remember that. Build yours deliberately. Let's go.